the US military has carried out a fourth round of airstrikes against the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen. The US says it struck 14 Houthi missiles, which may have been intended for attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. It came just hours after the Houthis used a drone to hit another US-owned cargo ship in the Gulf of Aden. On Wednesday, the United States announced that it's returning the Houthis to a list of global terrorist organizations. The designation will require American financial institutions to freeze Houthi funds, and its members will be banned from the United States. It was back in November that the group began attacking merchant vessels in this key waterway, saying that they were responding to Israel's military operation in Gaza. Well, since then, the Houthis have launched dozens of attacks on commercial tankers passing through the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Well, answering questions about the latest US strikes in Yemen, the Pentagon's press secretary, Major General Pat Ryder, said the United States is focused on deterring the attacks in the Red Sea.
In our assessment, we hit what we intended to hit with good effects. Again, the objective here was to disrupt and degrade Houthi capabilities to conduct attacks. And we believe that overall, in terms of the scope and the number of strikes that we took, we have degraded their ability to attack. Clearly, they maintained some capability, and we anticipated that after any action, there would likely be some retaliatory strikes.
Our correspondent Will Vernon has the latest from Washington.
The US military in their statement saying that its forces targeted 14 Houthi missiles that were primed and ready for launch. And the language of this statement was quite interesting because it basically said that this was an act of self-defense. And this is a narrative we've seen time and again over the last week or so when the US and its allies are talking about the military action that they're carrying out in Yemen. That this is very much a kind of coalition, an international coalition carrying out a defensive mission, and that defensive mission is to protect international shipping, to protect the lives of mariners and indeed of their own service men and women, and nothing else. Now, these were the fourth round of strikes carried out on Houthi targets in Yemen since last week. Last Thursday, we remember, don't we, those coordinated large-scale attacks by the US, the UK, and with support from 4 other nations. Now, since then, the situation has basically descended into a kind of tit for tat where the Houthis fire missiles or drones and then US forces respond. Now, these fresh strikes came a few hours after a US-owned vessel, a bulk carrier, was hit by a drone fired from Houthi-controlled territory in Yemen. The US military said that that ship was seaworthy, although it was damaged, and continued its journey. Now, the big question now, of course, is what happens next. Because when those large-scale, those coordinated strikes were launched last Thursday, the US and its allies said that they had two objectives in that. The first one was to dissuade the Houthis from carrying out further attacks on Red Sea shipping. The second one was to degrade their capabilities to do so. Now, 1 week on, it would appear that they're not really having much success in either of those. Attacks on shipping in the Red Sea continue, albeit on a smaller scale. And that begs the question, what is the way out of this? What is the exit strategy to ensure the US does not get embroiled in a regional war and ensure that the situation, this tit for tat, does not continue?
And that was Will Vernon there.